Hasan Dhaimish was born in 1955 in Benghazi, Libya, a city with a rebellious past and a country that had just gained independence after centuries of foreign occupation. He described his youth as one full of love for the city. He played basketball, swam in the sea, visited the cinema and wandered the markets of Benghazi, taking in the aromas of spices and the colours of the fabrics on sale. His father, Sheikh Mahmoud Dhaimish, taught him to be politically aware at a young age. He inherited his spirit of rebellion and to stand up for the weaker parts of society from him. In 1969, Gaddafi came to power. And Hassan, like many Libyans, took an instant dislike to the dictator. He once said, "His wicked eyes were full of hatred and backwardsness. I was waiting for him to reveal his real personality that I always felt he was hiding from us." It didn't take long until the mask fell off. 6 years later, in 1975, Hassan left Libya for England. Politics was the last thing on his mind when he arrived. He ended up in Burnley, Lancashire, where he married Karen and settled down. With a penchant for drawing, Hassan soon started contributing anti-Gaddafi cartoons to oppositional newsletters like Jihad in the early 1980s. His cartoons began reaching the Libyan diaspora, and his sentiments were shared by most. This was a time when draconian laws were introduced to Libya. Torture, executions, and disappearances were not uncommon, while exiled Libyans were being assassinated for opposing the regime. The threat was real for Hasan, or Alsatoor as he was known, meaning the cleaver in Arabic. Burnley had become Hasan's home. He had a wife and children and was able to operate covertly as a satirist, although during the 1990s, education and artistic exploration were his priorities. Hasan began developing an artistic style that was worlds apart from his cartoons. He painted jazz and blues musicians and established a deep connection with the music and culture. Thelonious Monk, Sarah Vaughan, Mance Lipscomb, Robert Johnson were just a few of those he painted. Folk gathering in bars and street corners were some of the scenes he depicted from early to mid-20th century America. He once said, "I love jazz because of the melody and the conditions from which it appeared. I identify with the history of black people in America based on my own suffering and persecution." These artworks appear to be an expression of his love for life, colour and music, but also the struggle of exile. Painting was Hasan's way of relaxing and creating endless possibilities. But he had a duty as Sator. At the turn of the millennium, Hasan was ready to launch Sator digitally. He began posting cartoons every month, reaching a wider audience than before. He was manipulating videos and using screenshots from Libyan news stations to attack Gaddafi and his family and his cronies. He received threats, his YouTube channel was taken down, and his family's social media and email accounts were attacked, but it didn't stop him. If anything, it spurred him on. By the late 2000s, Sator was prolific. He was producing an average of 700 cartoons a year while working as a teacher and being a father and a husband. He'd been away from Libya and his family for 35 years, and there was still no sign of him returning. But Sator remained committed to the cause. In 2011, when revolution struck Libya, Hasan dedicated his life to Sator. His work felt more important than ever. Even once Gaddafi had gone, the fight continued in the name of democracy and freedom. He targeted all those who dared enter Libya's political arena. He always posted tributes to those who were killed in the fight for justice in Libya. They were his brothers and sisters in arms. For almost 40 years, Hasan fought for humanity. His work was autonomous, bold, and relentless. He stood with the Libyan people and fought with his pen until the very end of his life.